Hi, this is David Clive from Deed Ventures. The first 3 minutes of this video will provide an aerial overview of the property, which will be followed by a detailed property review, ending with a purchase walkthrough. I hope you enjoy. The property is located on Owls Butte Trail, and it is approximately 25 minutes, or just under 8 miles, west of Rodeo, New Mexico. It is about an hour and 10 minutes northeast of Douglas, Arizona, and about 2 hours east of Sierra Vista, Arizona. It is about 3 hours east of Tucson, and about 3 hours east of Las Cruces, New Mexico. So the property is close enough to the cities of southern Arizona and New Mexico to be a good weekend destination, but far enough away to get away from the rat race. The property is located in southeastern Arizona, right next to the New Mexico border, and the property itself borders the national forest near the Chiricahua Mountains. So here is the property. As you can see, the property ID is labeled here. It is the APN is 402-67-005. This green outline doesn't really follow the contours of the land. The yellow outline does. So you can see the property near the road. It's on Owls Butte Trail. So near Owls Butte Trail, the property sits lower in elevation, and it's fairly flat, and then it starts to really get steeper as you get closer to the back of the property until you run into the national forest. This national forest area is actually part of the Chiricahua wilderness area, and so you can just go right out the back of the property up into the mountains and start hiking. And as you can see, it's not too far from the property before you hit the tree line, and you start getting into some foresty areas just right here. And or if you want to go out this way, you can hit some forest out here. And there is a ton of exploring to be done out here in the mountains. As you can see, when this Google satellite shot was taken, there was still some snow on the north face of some of these mountains here. And there is a dirt road that's pretty rough that goes in right here through this valley. So if you go south from the property, you can explore the mountains by going in through here, and you can check out the forest that way. And also, farther to the north, you have the Chiricahua National Monument. There's the Chiricahua Peak. I think it's up here somewhere. And I'll show shots of that. I'll show pictures of that later in this video clip. All right, getting back to the property, if you follow the elevation located in the lower right-hand side of the video, you'll see that it starts out at about 4350, and it slowly ramps up as you go up the property. And right here it really starts to ramp up quickly. So you've only gone up about 200 feet to this point, and then from here to the top you get up to about 5,150 feet. Okay, I'm going to turn off the green outlines so you can see the property a little bit better, and going to rotate around to give you an idea of the contour of the property, and so you can see it from different angles. Hopefully the drone footage was also helpful. The drone kind of circled around. It didn't go all the way up here with the drone. I kind of stopped shy of these mountainy areas and shot mostly down here in this section. And that should also give you an idea of how large the property is as well. I mean, I didn't even go all the way back to the top of the property. I just stayed in this area. So as you can see, there's plenty of usable space here up front. And then if you're really wanting to do something extreme, you could kind of maybe build something into the cliffs here, or you could just hike on them and enjoy the topography that this property offers. You'll see another yellow outline here. That's another property I have for sale. If you want something that still has views but is flatter, if you're not interested in getting a property with interesting topography, then look at my other listings and you'll see that one. All right, so that should give you a good idea of the lay of the land for the property. And if I zoom out here, I mean, it's right up against the national forest. And if I were to classify the different types of government land that you want to be next to, state land is nice because it provides a buffer for you to kind of separate you and keep you isolated from other areas in terms of development. BLM land is nice because BLM often allows you to go out and do recreational activities on the land. National forest land, I think, is the best because they allow a lot of recreational activities on the land, and also the reason it's national forest land is because there are usually unique aspects to the property. It's usually in a beautiful area, and there are usually lots of good hiking and other activities to do there. Of course, national monuments and things like that are also great to be next to. But just zooming out a little bit to give you a feel for the property. So I also have a property up here in San Simon Valley. The property, as I mentioned before, borders the Coronado National Forest, and in particular it borders a specific part of that forest called the Chiricahua Wilderness. And I thought it would be helpful to pull up some Google pictures of what the Chiricahua Wilderness looks like. Here's a map of the area. The property is right here on this side, and it borders this whole area. So here are some photos. You can see those sort of chimney-like rocks, and as you can see, when you get into the mountains, there's a lot of forest. There's a lot of greenery, and the valleys become quite lush with little streams, washes, and moisture. So these are some of the things that you can do right next to the property. You can just go out the back of your property and be in this wilderness area, and just keep on hiking until you hit some of the spots where these pictures are taken. So I'll just keep flipping through some of these for a little while to give you a better idea of what the area is like. As you can see, there are some interesting water features, a lot of pretty foliage. And as you saw in the Google Earth overview, there was still some snow, and it does get cold enough up in the higher altitudes to get snow, and it'll stay there for a decent part of the year. Just amazing. Just to think this would just be right out your backyard. Lizard. Anyway, that should give you a good idea of what the area is like and some of the wilderness area you have next to you. This is Arizona State's well registry, and I'll provide a link to this website on the property page so you can go and look at it at your leisure. They list all the wells in the state with a map, and we're going to take a look at the wells that are near the property to help you get a good idea of the depth of the water table nearby. So here's Rodeo. The property is just on Owl Butte Road, and Blacktail Road is just a little bit north of Blacktail Road. So the nearest well is this one right here, and if we click on that, it will show us the details, and if we click well details and then construction, it will tell us the water level. So this well hit water at 210 feet, and this one is also fairly close, and it hit water at 180 feet. Now obviously the more you go, if you want to dig a well up on the mountain at a higher elevation, it's going to take a greater depth to hit water, but if you're closer down to the road, it looks like around 200 feet is where water was hit nearby. So, ballpark, somewhere between 190 and 240 feet is probably about where the water is. You can check this for yourself. I recommend people do their own checks and look at it, but that's what I'm seeing with these wells nearby. This is Google's travel guide for Cochise County, Arizona. As you can see, there are lots of activities on the map that are plotted out, and there is a lot to see and do. Tombstone, which is down here, Boot Hill, lots of old Wild West cowboy type activities. There is a lot of outdoor exploration that can be done. One of the cooler things in the area is the Kartchner State Caverns, and they're extremely impressive. Relatively close to the property is the Chiricahua National Monument, and this is an interesting area because it has many rock formations that stick up like chimneys or smokestacks, and The natural erosion has just caused these rocks to stay in these positions. So it's a great place to go do outdoor exploring, hit up on the weekends, or if you're in Tucson, you can hit these sites on the way to the property. There's a lot to see and do in Tucson as well. One of the highlights of Tucson is the collection of museums that the city has. There is the Arizona Sonora Desert Museum. It has the Pima Air and Space Museum, which is highly ranked with lots of aircraft and spacecraft on display. Has a zoo. You can go to the Saguaro National Park. Saguaros are the cacti that look like the Taco Bell logo, or the old Taco Bell logo. There are lots of activities and things from the University of Arizona in Tucson and around Tucson. This is the climate for Tucson, which is fairly similar to the climate near the property. As you can see, the area is fairly dry with low chance of precipitation during most periods except for July and August, where there are monsoons that come through. And the temperatures stay fairly warm, with the winter being a balmy 64 for the high in December and January and a low of 41. In the summers it does get a bit hot. It gets the average temperature here for the highs shows 98 for June and July and 96 for August. I will note that these are averages, and temperatures can get a lot hotter and colder than these averages, but this should give you a good idea of the general climate. To purchase this property or to hold the property, all you have to do is scroll down to the section of the property page labeled Purchase Options, and there you will see the different prices and options available for purchasing the property. In this case, you have the cash price and several financing options that are available. If you want to purchase the property using any of these options, you can follow these instructions down below. The first step is to copy the checkout code. If I wanted to purchase it with the cash price, I would copy the checkout code. I would click the Buy Now Deposit, and that would take me to this page here with Rerun, which is our payment gateway partner. And here you would sign up for a new account, and you would place first name here, last name here, email address, and create a password, and then click sign up. Then you'll be asked for your billing details, and you'll also see down here at the bottom the property checkout code. This is where you'll want to paste in that checkout code that we copied before and fill in your various billing details. You'll go through the process completing your user information. You'll be taken to an order summary page that will show you the purchase that you have selected, which is just a deposit, and then you'll select a payment method. We accept credit card, debit card, or ACH transfer online. Also, you can reach out to us at sales@deedventures.com and arrange for payment via check, cashier's check, or money order, or wire. Finally, you'll be taken to the end, and we'll reach out to you to ensure we have the proper information to document the transaction, and we will coordinate with you to get all the documents completed and signed. As you can see here, below the Buy Now button, we outlay the purchase process. You simply copy the checkout code of the purchase option you want. Once you complete the checkout process, the non-refundable deposit will hold the property, and it will also count toward the purchase price or the down payment amount of the property purchase. We will then send a simple agreement for you to sign, which will put the property under contract. The remaining balance can be paid by wire transfer, ACH, credit card, debit card, or cashier's check. Once all the payments are received, the deed and the necessary transfer documentation will be completed and filed with the county and mailed to the address that you provide us. In this instance, we will also pay for a title insurance policy, which will be issued to you as the new owner. If you have any questions about the purchase process, the deposit, or the documentation process, feel free to reach us by email or by phone. Our contact info is listed at the bottom of each page.